So I don't really have a route planned out. I know that Las Vegas is generally that way, and I have 3 days to get there. But I don't have anything plugged into my GPS. I'm just sort of working my way in that direction, and at some point it'll get dark and I'll stop for the day. I have sort of expected, well, probably not bears, but I don't know, mountain lions or elk or some, I guess I don't know what wild animals they have in Texas. Do they have buffalo in Texas? Seems like if I were a buffalo, this would be a good spot, I think. Since leaving New York City, I have driven over 2,500 miles to meet with magicians in person to discuss the ideas behind their work. Today's episode is going to be a little different. Billy? Hey, yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. You should see a sign that says it's recording. Are you getting that?
Oh yes, it does. Nate is recording the call.
I met Billy Kidd when we starred together in a TV series about magic.
All right, it's really nice. We're gonna go for one last one.
She's built a global career as a street performer, stage magician, and television star. And when she's not performing around the world, she has a weekly show at her own venue in the United Kingdom. When I watch your material, it looks so categorically different than pieces that I see from other magicians. Like the trapeze act or the monkey act, I mean, those are the things that come to mind immediately. Those almost feel like performance art pieces as much as they feel like magic pieces. Can you talk to me just for a minute about how you approach the process of invention?
Well, I've always been a fan of classics of magic, and that's kind of where I kind of dig and research and get my material from. But I think a lot of it has to do with I'm really uninspired. This might sound harsh. I'm really uninspired sometimes by watching other magicians. And the reason is because if I see a routine, let's say, like even a classic routine, like a straitjacket escape, you know, what is the one thing that every magician is always doing when they do an escape? So for an example, usually they're always doing some kind of countdown or there's a timer.
Right.
And I will put that as my rule. I'm like, okay, I'm not allowed to use a countdown or a timer. They will usually go, they're trying to do it faster than Houdini or someone else. And I'll be like, I'm not allowed to say that. What stock lines are they all using? Again, just using an example of a straitjacket, you know, they're going to do something with a crotch strap. So whatever that line is, I'm not allowed to say it. I'm not allowed to do it. So I'll always go the complete opposite way. It's kind of how I will start a piece of magic, which is really difficult because it's so easy to imitate. And it makes my process really quite long because I'm trying to figure out all these rules I've put in front of myself. It kind of makes me start from scratch.
So New Mexico is unlike any place I've ever been. It feels like Mars. Probably greener than Mars. I'm driving on a back road. I don't even know what the name of the road is, but I stopped because I saw this old cemetery and I just wanted to have a look. So I got over there and I was, taking video. And then from the grass in front of me, I heard this. I did not like snakes. I don't know that it was a snake. I just didn't want to stay around to investigate. Okay. One thing I see in your work that I really admire is the understanding that you don't have to entertain an audience by giving them what they think they want. That it's okay to make them uncomfortable. It's okay to make them feel awkward. What people really want is to have someone make the hair stand up on the back of their neck.
Yeah, and I know magicians always talk about, oh, I like putting smiles on people's faces and I give them that, and like that is part of it. But for me, I'm like, no, I want them to feel more. I want them to have more of a part in my show. There's a lot of routines I do where I kind of let the audience make their own decision on where it's going to go. And it makes them very uncomfortable.
Right. So
there are moments in my show where I kind of try to break that ice. I think it's just the way I work or my process, and maybe coming from a different background as well forces me to be different because I just can't do the same shtick.
So when I was 22, I drove from Iowa to Los Angeles to start my professional career as a magician. And on that drive, I came across this ghost town out in the middle of nowhere. It was an old abandoned mining town. And I just saw on a sign that it's not very far from here, so I'm going to take a quick detour and go have a look. Most people, when they start in magic, you know, they're 9 or 10 or 11. I mean, that's at least the age I was. But you had this entire career as an actor first, and then made the jump to magic.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for someone just starting magic that you wish you had known when you were starting?
I think when you're starting magic, you can be so hung up on the techniques and the secrets. I know magicians have said this in the past, but for me, it's probably the most important thing. No matter what, you have to perform for real people. Not your family, not your friends. You have to go into the real world and perform for people that you don't know, because they will tell you so much about yourself, and you will learn so much quicker that way. And that was the advice I was given when I started, because I started kind of street performing, and I made it my job right away, and that I needed to make money. So I was forced into that position. You can make it your job literally right away, even if it's just by going onto the street, but it will force you to perform for real people, and you need to make those stakes quite high if you want to succeed.
So, it wasn't a rattlesnake that I heard earlier. I sat down just to have a break, and from under the table I heard the same sound, and I thought, oh, so I'm just gonna die here. Wasn't a snake. Apparently they have these, I don't know if they're crickets or grasshoppers, that also make the same, sort of the same sound. That'd be a tough way to go though. Just killed at a picnic table. So one question, and maybe this is a good way to end. When people watch a magic show, they sort of forget that the show gets to watch them back, right? It's a live performance, and magicians get to see their audiences experience these incredible, impossible events. So here's your audience. They watch you do something that's totally inexplicable. And then what is that for them? You know, we call it wonder, but it's easy to just use that word without really thinking about it.
I think an audience, they first come in because they know they're seeing a magic show, but I think they always first come in with that kind of puzzle brain. Like they know they're going to be tricked. They want to know how it works as well. That's just human nature. But then I think what I'm hoping my audience is getting from watching my show, besides all our, you know, all the words we like to use, wonder, astonishment, you know, blah, blah, blah. I kind of hope that they kind of get to just meet me. We don't really get to know who a magician is on stage a lot of the times, because we're hiding behind all our tricks. And I hope I can kind of change that, because it is an exchange that we are having with an audience. I'm trying to figure out who they are as soon as I walk on stage, and I'm hoping they can get more of a sense of who I am and my story, as well as appreciate what I'm doing. Almost like the magic is secondary, and it becomes more about us in this room together.